Right, so we're probably about a week later, but obviously only a few seconds for you. Yes, I got to this problem here where I'd obviously forgotten that the connector here on this side was going to be completely blocked by this bar. Yeah, I've had to think about how to get around that. And the way I've gone for it is I decided to just change this. So basically it uses a right angle connector. Seems the easiest thing to do because the ones at the top and the bottom, they're absolutely fine. It's just that one there that needs to change. Now the way of going about this is I can desolder this, but actually desoldering is a bit of a pain when you've got this many pins. So given I've got 5 of these boards, I've just made another board up. So here we go. And you can see there you've got the connector on the top, connector on the bottom, and this one's just put to the right, to the left that way around, to the right that way around. So what I can do now is I can switch these boards over. So I'll swap this board for this board, and then I can put all the bars back in place, and that will then make it much easier then to put that cable in, and that should do the trick just nicely. Right, okay, let's do a time lapse of that. Right, okay, there we go. So that's much nicer now. So we've got the 2 bars there. It doesn't matter whether they're exactly parallel or not, because again, one of these connectors will hook it onto the side. So long as it's got some adjustment there, will be absolutely fine. There we go. So we can put the cable in from the side there. We've got the power connector down there at the bottom, and then there'll be a cable that can go off the top and a cable off the bottom. So we'll put this into the computer now. And then so the way this will work is basically I'll offer this up, put some cards in so I can get the alignment right, and then basically just fix it into the back. So I'll do a video doing that now, and then I need to wire this thing out. So for the moment I'm going to use somewhere around here. I have some 40 pin cable somewhere. So basically what I'll do is I'll put a 40 pin cable in here and offer it up to the top. Then I'll need to temporarily just break that cable out, because of course I need to just connect it to the parts of the computer as they currently stand. But as I'll start putting more of these backplanes in, the backplane that sits here will just have literally a 40 pin connector directly to the next 40 pin connector, and it'll pass the exact same connectors down between each one, so just make it much cleaner. But I think that's, if you compare that to this one here, I think that's looking a lot nicer. Lot tidier. I mean, well, actually this one has a bit of a charm about it, but yeah, it's very handmade, and this is a much more professional looking piece of kit. Just hope it works. All right, let's pop it in the computer and find out. Right, okay, so we've jumped forward a bit, and as you can now see, the board's all in here now. All the rails there are connected up at the side. That one's slightly off, so I probably will just push that up a little bit more so it's level. But all the cards are fitting in now. That's all as it should be. You can also see I've also added the cables now. So there's this ribbon cable here, That goes off through the top, and I'll just bring this into shot. There we go. So that goes onto these here. So you can see these the Z, Control Z, the operation bus, and the B bus. So I can go back up there out of the way. Likewise at the bottom here, those connections also go out the bottom, but this time you've got the Z, the control and instruction bus, and the B bus. So the B bus passes straight through, Control Z passes through, but the CI bus comes in from the bottom, and the OP bus comes in from the top. Also over to the left then you can then see, oh that's a bit harder to see here actually, but this is where the other ribbon cable goes off to the left with that right angle connector. So that's where the Control Y and Control X will go through. So over here on the left, they're just sort of left dangling there as Y and X at the moment. So the other thing worthy of note is the power connector just down here, over here. So that looks quite different to the other ones. So here's a picture of where I've just stripped the old cable down. So before that was just sort of a couple of headers, and it was just well, rather crudely soldered. So basically what I've done is cut that off, prep the 3 wires and just put a bit of heat shrink around them. Easy for me to say. Put some heat shrink around them just to make them so they're a bit more resistant to bending. And then I've screwed them into the connector block as you see here. And then just put a bit more heat shrink around it just for good measure. And so that basically then is just plugged in down here. And that's nice now as well. It just makes it much easier to plug in and unplug. And it also means there's no way you can put it in the wrong way around, because the previous ones you could if you didn't watch what you were doing. So it just seems a more robust way of doing it. Right, so next bits of jobs I need to do, I need to put some connectors on the end of these just temporarily. So I'll just put one of these blocks on the end of here and on this one. The B I'll leave alone because I don't actually need that right now. That's just for some future use. Likewise on the bottom, actually bottom I need to just put some on the CI bus. Z I don't need to worry about for the moment, and on the left hand side I need to put something on the Y and the X. And now what I'm going to have to do is then basically kludge, I suppose is the right word. I'm going to kludge those into the existing connections. So for example, this is the old X the old X bus connector, Control X. So that would have gone into the card here and then have gone off into this card over on the left hand side to serve the X bay. So what I need to do instead is that still needs to go into the X bay, but then I'll basically use this to plug into here temporarily. And then when I've got a proper backplane for the X bay, this will just then plug in directly over here, which will make it much easier. But in the meanwhile, it's almost going to be a little bit messier to just get it simpler again. So that's the X. I'll need to do the Y as well. So similarly, the Y would have come down to here, would have gone off and then down into the Y bay at the bottom. And then finally I've got the Z, Control Z here. So again, that already goes down into the bottom card. I just need to basically pop onto here. So I can do that either from the upper or the lower ribbon. Note I've actually made this a lot longer. So I've got basically, so this basically will stay here for good now. And then what I'll do is when I'm ready, I'll just chop off these connectors here and then just pop on a new 40 pin one. And then that's basically nice and sorted. So as I'm going around modernising these boards, it will just make it a lot easier to work. Right, okay, I think you get the general idea, so I'll stop rabbiting on now. So what I'll do is I will, I'll just get on with this now, and I'll do as usual, I'll do this as a quicker video. I can't think what the word for that is now, it's getting late, long day. I might not show it all the way through because I don't want this video to be hugely long. I'm sure you don't either. So what I'll do is I'll jump to the point then where it's done, and then I'll just show you the end result, and then I think we're done for this video. Right, okay, let's go. Oh, would you look at that? I've actually run out of the 20-way ones. Now in theory, if I'm careful, I can probably salvage some off of this. So if I, it means basically destroying this thing now, but basically I could take one of these off of here. So if I take one of these ribbons apart, and I can try and salvage one of these. Now this is definitely then not a long-term fix, so I don't mind doing these, but really you're not supposed to reuse this, I don't think. But what I'll do is I'll see if I can gently take this apart and then reuse one of these, but I'm going to have to definitely a temporary solution. I mean, it's not like these things are exactly expensive, but I don't have any right now, and I'm in a mood for doing a bit on my relay computer, so I'll see if I can do this on camera, but yeah, this may not work. Right, I kind of managed to do one, so I've got a feel for how that will work. Badly is the answer, but I guess then I can just yeah, okay, if I do another one carefully I might get away with that. Okay, I think I got away with that. It's definitely not worth doing this for the money saving, I can assure you of that. Alright, let's pop this on. Right, there we go, that should do. So I've got my Z, X and Y, and I've got my operation bus, and I've got no, I still need to do my CI one, so I'll quickly do that. Okay, and then basically it's just been a case of trying to connect them all together. So I'm not going to video this next bit because it's just a case of taking these connectors here and then just trying to get a pin match. So it's just a case of put them in, try and work out which pin's which, and then just keep on going till everything's working. So it's just kind of process of elimination. So I'll jump to the finished job, and then yeah, we'll call it a day. And there we go, the finished article. What do you mean it looks an absolute mess? Well, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you can't even see the green board now in this bay because it's just obscured by this mess of wires. But believe it or not, this is 1/4 closer to all this being much, much tidier. It just happens this one there, because I've started with this bay, this is the one that has the most connections going through it. But all these are now wired out. What you'll sometimes see here is just some almost a separate cable, and then the original cable carries on beneath it. And that's normally because when you put these, if you put that directly into there, you'd find the connectors are upside down and back to front. So that's the only way to get them round the right way around, is just by using through these cables I've put before, which can just reverse these pins round or just move them around on the connector. So yeah, so that looks like an absolute mess, but when I replace the next card, which will be the next backplane down in the bottom here, then there'll just be one connector going from here to here, and it'll clean it out quite a bit. So yes, that took me about an hour to do, because it's just a process of elimination, basically just connecting one bus at a time, trying all the connectors, and keep on going basically till you get something that works. So I guess before I close this video, you probably want proof that it still works. So what I'll quickly do now is I'll quickly load up a small counting program and just show it running. Right, okay, so I'm going to do this program from memory. So the first thing I want to do is transfer the value of A into B. So that would be a move A into B. So that should be in memory now. And then next thing I want to do is increment B. So that'll be an ALU operation of increment, which will put the incremented value back into A again. And then all I need to do is loop back. So that's a go to load J and jump always. Cool, that should be it. So if we jump back to the first location in memory, let's just read that program back. So starting off with the move, then we've got the LU operation, and then we've got the jump. Cool, okay, so let's load the address and let's step through the program. So we'll go set the sequencer down there, step through. So first operation is a move. It's moving A into B. Next operation is an ALU increment into A. And the last one is a go to. I'll tell you what I forgot to do. I forgot to set the location in memory for that one. Right, no problem. Let's quickly sort that out. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly move the counter on, because of course the go to is a three-part instruction. So I'll show you how to do that. So if I load the address, if I examine, I've got the first instruction, second instruction, the go to, and then I need to put zeros in and zeros in after that, and that'll then put it back to the first instruction in memory. Right, let's try that. So value goes over there, value is incremented, here comes the go to, I'm looking for the program count to go back to 0. If we take the jump, which we should, there we go, we loaded J, program count has gone back to 0, and we start again. And there you go, that's it all working as it should do. So, if you can hear me over the racket, next time I think I'm going to start looking at the clock, because at the moment, as you can see, there's a temporary board at the back, and there should be a clock there. So that's probably the thing I'll look at next time. But otherwise, that's it for today.